Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So we hear this all the time. People saying, "Well, if I don't do it, someone else will." We hear this about jobs that are keeping kids in cages along the border. We hear this about the police. We hear this about the military. People joining the military. Here's the problem with this concept. The military is falling well short, 20% or 25% in some cases for different branches of the military, and their recruitment goals for 2022. The police are falling short of their recruitment goals for 2022, and their recruitment goals have been falling short for years. The military has been falling short for years. They're always trying to recruit more people to, to get people working on the border. I get offers all the time as a nurse for contracts to go to El Paso, Texas, and work there, treating refugees. I'm not going to call them immigrants. I'm going to call them refugees. And the pay is outstanding, but one, I'm not bilingual. Two, I would do this for humanitarian reasons, but that's a definite conflict of interest for me. Now, some of the interesting things is that, they gave the military a raise, an insufficient raise, this year, but the police have been highly overfunded in different ways. I've done that in different videos and will continue doing that. But they increased money for recruiting new police, partially funded by money that was diverted by President Biden from the American Rescue Plan, ARP, which was supposed to be money that was funding COVID. And yet, police are still winding up short every... I work in corrections. Police and correctional facilities are consistently, and have been consistently, short of staff for years. So they just keep throwing money at things and thinking that that's going to solve it. The fact is that younger people do not want to take these positions. It is an ethical conflict of interest for them. And money is not going to settle their conscience. So, no, you say, if I don't do it, someone else will. That's not true. One of the interesting things about this is that a lot of the people that are saying this, if I don't do it, someone else will, are also the same people that are against government spending and debt and so forth. Well, these jobs are being funded by government spending. These are government jobs or government contractor jobs. You're still paying for it through your taxes no matter what. The national debt continues to increase no matter what. Your state taxes continue to go up no matter what, because you are funding the jails and the prisons and all these things. So, no, you keep on throwing. You cannot actually, it's very difficult to actually calculate how much is being spent on killing people and locking people up. And young people, I do not want any part of this by and large. If you're falling short of your recruitment goals, then that says it all. Many officers that I work with for years now have considered their positions only temporary. They want to find something else to do with their time. Some of them going to college to get a degree and get out of their positions, etc. And others just feel they're doing it, but they're not happy with it. They feel locked in. They don't know what else to do. Now, if we took the same money that we are spending on jails and prisons and military spending, and we diverted it instead to other things, paying teachers, road repairs, public health, universal health care, education. How many millions of living wage jobs, government jobs, could we create with the same amount of money, possibly even less, and benefit our society by using that money in a humanitarian way that benefits our country? Created real living wage jobs in this country that did not involve locking people up and killing people and bombing other countries and increasing our tensions with nuclear powers, etc. We've already sent over $100 billion to Ukraine, or promised that much money. And then we've got, what, an $858 billion defense budget. And that's on top of all the money that we spend on border control and prisons and jails and just destroying human lives. What if we use that money to improve human lives, improved education, fixed our infrastructure, and provided health care for people that cannot afford it, provided health care for everybody? I mean, we could do this, but instead, if I don't do it, someone else will. The honest truth is that if you ask most young people, teenagers, whether they would rather be a police officer or a prison guard or a soldier in another country, ask them which they would prefer, being a nurse, a teacher, or go into one of those professions instead. Most of the people that are going into these fields, well, some of them feel that they are going to do something beneficial and they wind up with PTSD. They come back from a war zone with damaged mentally and physically. They find out that law enforcement is not what they thought it was. But ask a nurse, ask a teacher that spends decades in a job in these professions. Yes, you will definitely hear negative stories from any profession, but myself, there have been times I've gone through absolute burnout as a nurse and questioned whether I wanted to continue, and yet 28 plus years later, here I am, still being a nurse, and I still enjoy it. I enjoy when I've got the time to talk with inmates about their health and answer their questions, address any concerns about their medications and other health issues. I enjoy doing this. I left more acute care because of the conflict between politics and profit over patient care. That's my biggest concern in nursing. Otherwise, I would still be in hospitals right now. I loved working in ER, ICU, neurosurgery, infectious disease, all of these things. I still love nursing after 28 plus years. Much of the time, you all know about the school to prison pipeline. Ask, teenagers, children, how they feel that are underperforming. Ask them why they are underperforming. They don't feel any motivation. They don't feel any hope for the future. How are you going to motivate them when they don't see any future ahead of them? Ask many of the people that are in jail or in prison, and then they feel trapped. They feel lack of motivation, lack of hope. They don't see a future outside of where they are. Many times we take away a person's future by charging them with nonviolent crimes, drug crimes, etc. They wind up losing their job, possibly a professional license in some cases. I've seen people in jail with PhDs. I've seen doctors and nurses and professors in jail, and they're not going to be able to return to their professions. These are people that are highly accomplished. I've seen a lot of people that are in jail that have a lot of artistic talent and are highly innovative. It's famous just how prisoners can create things, tattoos, weapons, but they're not mindless. They have abilities, but we don't give them any place where they can use these abilities. Anyway, where would you rather see your tax dollars or our national debt spent? If we're going to drive up our debt, where would you rather see that money spent? Locking people up, killing people, bombing other countries, or fixing our infrastructure, improving our education, improving our health care, educating our young people, giving them a future? Where would you rather see this money spent? It doesn't matter whether you're talking about creating jobs in the private sector or the public sector. I would much rather see many more public sector jobs, government jobs that are paying a living wage. A person doesn't necessarily, if they are ideologically opposed in some way, and yet you offer them a living wage, doing something that is positive for their community, what are they going to choose? Sure, they can ideologically, object to this, but they could take a job for a while, save up money, and then open their own business or get a degree or whatever and go into the private sector from there. That would be their choice. Or stay in a public sector job until they retire, take their retirement, and then go into the private sector. Whatever their choice is, they would have a level of security that they do not have now. If I don't do it, someone else will. Well, let's apply that to education and teaching and construction and medical care without going into crushing debt on all of these things. Wouldn't that make a lot more sense? Wouldn't that make for a better, more secure, happier society? I contend that it absolutely would. So I do not believe in any of this. If I don't do it, someone else will. Do you believe any of that? Because the evidence is strongly against it. With this information that police and the military and Border Patrol struggling to find enough people to fill their positions, having to contract out and pay exorbitant wages and benefits and so forth, where would you rather see your tax dollars and our government debt going to? I'm far more in favor of a humanitarian approach. Share this video. Talk about these subjects if you can afford it. Please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a good New Year. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.